Welcome in on this Sunday. Ready to talk some Michigan basketball. Michigan hosting Illinois, and it is a final down at the Chrysler Center, 93-85. It goes to the Fighting Illini. I'm Dennis Fithian, joined by Jim Scarcelli as we get ready to talk about this game today. And, Scar, Michigan fought all the way back and got within 2 points with just a couple minutes remaining, with a couple big shots there by the Illini, and they end up going down by 8 points in this one.
Yeah, you score 85 points. Normally Michigan should win, but yet they just gave up too many points. Kofi Cockburn, we've been watching this kid develop. I think he probably had his best game he's ever had against Michigan, and the Plummer kid was incredible. And to be in a position to, win the game as good as those guys played was something. But I thought Michigan had a pretty good game plan. They brought Hunter away from the basket and try to dump it down to Diabate and get Kofi away from the basket. I thought that was some of their early game plan. But, just too little, too late. We didn't play terrible. That's a good team. That's Illinois, in my opinion, is probably the last team I would want to play in the Big Ten championship or in the Big Ten tournament. Them and Ohio State would be the last two teams I would want to play because I think they play great defense.
Yeah, Plummer, he had last game on Thursday. He went off. He was 8 of 10 from downtown, so he picked up right where he left off on Thursday. And, he was getting some pretty good looks, and he was knocking them down. He's sitting there 5 of 8 from downtown in the first half with 23 points, and almost felt like, Michigan had lost the game in the first half. But, they did fight back. You go through it. Devontae Jones, he got fouled on a three, made all three free throws, then came back and hit a three, and he cut it to 4 with 3 minutes left. And then you thought maybe that was their shot, but then they come back and Houston hit a 3, and that cut it to 2 with 2 to go. But then Coburn in the lane, and then Houston missed a layup. There was a lot of contact. I don't know. Rafferty was like, hey, they hadn't been calling it. So, you might have a case if you're a Michigan fan. You're hoping for a foul there. But then really what happened is the Illini missed the three-pointer. It's under 2 minutes. It's a 4-point game. The Illini missed a 3, but they get an offensive rebound. Frazier, then with the clock running down again, knocks down a 3, and that was pretty much it. Those were the big shots coming down to it. It felt like if Michigan could have made that push a little bit earlier, they had a little bit more margin of error, but because they didn't, it came down to there where all those possessions were really big, and you get down to that offensive rebound, and you get down to Houston not being able to make that layup with a lot of contact, and that's how you end up losing a game against a good Illinois team.
Yeah, you look at the little things. I ran that back a couple times, and Diabate didn't. When a shot goes up, you just can't look at the ball. You got to find someone to box out, and that was his mistake. He's looking at the ball instead of going to put a body on the guy who eventually got the rebound. He won't make that mistake forever. And he won't make it next year. Hopefully he's playing for the Wolverines next year. But, hey, Illinois is a talented team. They're deep. They're very well coached. That guy is a good coach. I remember when he was at Stephen Austin, and we played him there. This he is a good coach. They play really good defense. They're very deep. They got good players. You talk about Plummer, you coach basketball now, you coach football now, you better be on the ball with freshman recruits and transfers. And this Plummer kid was huge. That's like the one missing link. It would have been nice to have another good perimeter shooter, but he's a transfer from Utah, and they picked him up. They got a couple transfers on that team, and they got a great combination of some young guys and some older guys, but they're definitely a tough team to beat.
Yeah, Granderson's the other one from Holy Cross. He was a transfer. He didn't have a great game today, but he has been pretty good for him, and he has been in the starting lineup. If you look for some encouraging things, like Michigan's got 3 games to go. I think if they win 1 out of the 3, they've got a chance to get into the tournament. I think if they win 2 out of 3, they've got a lot better chance. And then if they win, their next three. I think they're in. If they don't win any, it's not like you can sit around saying, "Oh yeah, we're looking really good here." But so you get one, you kind of leaving it up to the selection committee, and maybe you have to really do some damage when you get to Indianapolis in the Big Ten tournament. You win two, you might feel okay about yourself, and obviously if you win three, but that's life on the bubble, and that's where they're at. But I would say there's a couple encouraging things. One is Caleb Houston coming off a career high 21 points the other night. He comes back. He was pretty good in the first half, 11 points, actually really good in the first half. And then Michigan was making a little push, and he had one of those threes. We've seen it a couple times this year where like he doesn't just miss, he misses it by like 4 feet, and you're like, oh no, he's probably going to have a disappearing act, but he didn't. He came back, and he was taking the ball to the hole, even though he didn't get that foul. He did hit that big three to cut it to 2. I think that's encouraging if you're a Michigan fan. I think also, the identity of having the down low post of double D with Dickinson and Diabate. Dickinson didn't play one of his better games, and you can usually count on him. So, and Devontae Jones has come around a little bit here. I think those can be some encouraging things here for Michigan when they look at these 3 remaining games and then the postseason.
Yeah, Houston was, Rafferty kept saying, Houston's got to get involved. Houston's got to get involved. Well, guess what? The Illinois coach is not stupid. He knows he can shoot the ball, and he just saw him light it up, against Rutgers, and they were really giving him a lot of attention anywhere near the 3-point line. And the thing about Caleb Houston, and he knows he's got to work on this, but they're going to overplay you. He's got to be able to go to the hole and finish, and he's just got to keep getting better at it. But the thing about Illinois too, you look at, you say, okay, maybe we didn't shoot the ball from the perimeter as well, or this, that, or whatever. But Illinois, they just really challenge your shots. You watch Rutgers challenge shots, not as much as Illinois. Illinois is going to have a guy with a hand in your face, just a little more of a problem, a little more of a nuisance. But getting back to you talking about Iowa and Michigan State, I'll play Iowa and Michigan State any day of the week before these guys, because they don't have the experience, the shooters, the defense, the big monster underneath the basket, Kofi.
Well, you know what? You got them, and you got them both at home.
Yeah, so I'll take those two.
Coming up, you win both of those games coming up next week, Scar. You're talking about, this team likely getting into the tournament. So I don't know if you got them right where you want them, but you got them. You got Michigan State coming up, and then you've got Iowa coming up too.
Yeah, Rafferty said something. Because we're scored 85 points against Illinois, which is good. He said there's a calmness. He talking about Martelli. There's a calmness. I don't know if that's a factor. And he talked about the freshmen maturing, and our freshmen are really maturing. But just a couple observations I had. I still do not understand why Hunter on the low block when they double would look to kick it out to Frankie Collins. It just and the teams know it. It's frustrating. I watch it. It's very frustrating. I watch Illinois. They take charges. God, I wish we took more charges. But yeah, I thought Hunter was very average. I think Kofi had a lot to do with that. Kofi's a good defensive player, and
yeah, he's a monster. So you're right about that.
He's a good defensive player, and then and he's tough to defend too. And I think maybe Hunter got a little frustrated at times.
Yeah, and he had some. He passed out of the double team without knowing really where the ball was going. His entry pass from up top. You're supposed to use. A diagonal pass is so much easier. He's trying to throw it in there to Diabate. They shouldn't be doing that. You put that on the coaches, but, entry pass from up top, throwing it to another freshman looking for, that's a hard pass to make. You'd like them to have a better entry out of that. Those are some careless turnovers that, you're looking at there from Dickinson. I'm not going to get down too much on Dickinson because he's been their best player all year long, but, you just come back. You need these 2 games. You see it here on the scroll. I mean, you got to win 2 out of 3 to feel comfortable. People saying, hey, they can get in. They only need 1. Maybe, that might be true. And, if they just win 1 and then they go to Indianapolis and they win 2 or 3 games, yeah, they're probably in. But, it's the part about, do you feel comfortable, or do you feel like, you come to not this next Sunday. I mean, 2 weeks away, we're talking about Selection Sunday. If you want to be sitting there holding your breath and hey, maybe Michigan's in, this guy's got him out, this guy's got him in. And if that's going to be the case and you only win one game here, you'll complain, in 2 weeks, but you'll look back and say, hey, you had Michigan State and Iowa at home. You got to win those games. You win these games, you erase the that all that other stuff.
Yeah, Michigan State will be confident. They just had a big win at home against against Purdue, and but we got a note here. Andre says, yeah, we got to shoot better. Yeah, we had open looks. We had a lot of open looks, and it's frustrating. And Illinois shot the heck out of it. And a little bit of our shooting woes was because Illinois just finds a way to get a little more of a hand in your face than other teams. But just going through some of the players here, Frankie Collins, I thought he did a better job on Plummer. One thing I watched him, he moves his feet good. He played his left hand. I thought he did a good job defensive against Plummer. He scored with a little left-handed hook. He's understanding. He's got to go to the hole. Buffkin got a little bit of time. He didn't do much today. Turned the ball over. Williams got a little bit of time. It's interesting. They have basically said Buffkin is coming in the game before Williams and Johns. It looks like that's the rotation. That's the way they want to go. Williams got maybe 4 minutes. Johns got maybe 3-4 minutes. But again, I think Devontae Jones was outstanding. I think he's a good point guard.
Yeah, he was.
I think his confidence. You see his confidence up. He's a good defender.
Yeah, they need him, and he was big today. Here's Dooney. Dooney's got 3 thoughts here. If you don't win too many games, when you give up 93, you were saying that off the jump there, Scar. When your opponent shoots 60% from 3, 10 of 17, that's right at almost a little bit under 60%. But I'll agree with you there. And then the refs suck. Yeah, he put the refs in there too. He wanted that last one, I'm sure, called when Caleb Houston went down there. I can hear what you're saying.
Danny, there was a time Kofi just launched Brandon Johns, just launched him, shoved him right on the ground, and took the rebound and scored, and they didn't even call it. I was frustrated with that. Yeah, there was some in there, but Moussa Diabate did not have his best game. He's passing it okay. He blocks some shots, but you got to just little things. And then again, I'm looking at this Michigan team. I don't mind getting beat up a little bit like this as long as these guys all come back. Because Illinois was a veteran team. We lost to 22, 23-year-old guys, 21-year-old guys. We got a bunch of 19, 18, 19-year-old kids. And it's okay as long as we're going to get the cash in a couple years from now. But Brooks was, they don't leave him at the three-point line. He was pretty solid. He doesn't get many looks, though. So it was, tough for him to really get going.
Yeah, a little bit worried about Eli Brooks. He's had the hand injury, and then I don't know if he took a shot to the thigh there, or he had to come out. He ended up coming back in, but he's a little bit banged up. Devontae Jones got a little bit banged up as well. Just looking at from that front, there's a lot of times where you play a pretty good regular season, and then you get into the postseason, and like you win 3-4 games and you win a conference tournament. It's been an awesome year, man. And if Michigan was able to go to Indianapolis, you'd forget about having a mostly kind of frustrating year. If they went out and went into Indianapolis and we're cutting down nets, you'd feel like, hey, it's been a fantastic year. Or if they get to the big dance and they go in there and heck, they get to the Sweet 16. That right now would feel like they really accomplished something, and it's been a good year. But the thing is, when you just look at how they're trending, they lose this game, the game before they won. They lose to Wisconsin, the game before that against Iowa, they won. They lose to Ohio State, the game before that was against Purdue, they won. And then, it's kind of been that way. They beat Penn State by a point, but the game before that, they lost to Purdue. It's been win one, lose one, win one, lose one. And if they were right as the last buys in, and now they lose this game as a home game, San Diego State moves up to these are funny things how it works, to be a quad 1 victory now with how the Aztecs are playing. So that's a notch in Michigan's belt. So I don't think they drop out of the bracketology. But, however you want to do it, I think they need 2 out of these 3 games to feel pretty good about getting into the tournament. Don't come back, beat Michigan State. That's good. But don't lose to Iowa and then go down to Ohio State and lose. I mean, losing 2 out of 3, you don't like that. And then when you're win 1, lose 1, you get to the Big Ten tournament and who knows, you line up in the first round and you get that victory, but then you lose the next one. And then you get into the big dance. And if you won one, getting in there is key. And if they won 1, lost 1, that's kind of how it feels, how it's going to play out. An accomplishment though, just getting there. And heck, if they would want to win a game, you'd feel pretty good about that. So would you take the scenario, Scard, that I'm presenting you right now, where Michigan gets in the tournament and they win a game, but then they lose the next one, one and done. All right. Win 1, then lose 1.
I tell you, I'd like to see this team win the next, win 2 out of the next 3. That would be great. The way then we would be in great shape. We would be in great shape for the NCAA tournament. But listen, if I'm coaching this team, I mean, they got the rival coming in Tuesday. I'm not worried about none of that stuff. They know and understand. We need wins for the NCAA tournament, but we got to beat our rival. Everything is going to be focused on getting back at Michigan State. They beat us pretty good up there. Our crowd will be fired up. That's where my mindset would be as a coach. Is let's get focused on that. They're coming into our place short turnaround. We only got 1 day off, but
I agree with you on that. And split with Michigan State is big. There's markers that you have. The non-conference, conference, however you want to break it up. But when you're playing your rival, and Michigan State's their number 1 rival, you don't want to go 0-2 on the year, even if you end up, winning the last 2 and getting into the tournament. You want to split with Michigan State. That's important. So I'm with you on that. That's an important thing. You need it. They need it. Being able to even the ledger up this year, that would be important. Giving yourself some flexibility where you don't have to win the last 2 games and you feel like you're sitting in a pretty good spot. So win that game coming up on Tuesday. I'm with you.
Yeah. I think our coaching has been solid. I'm watching Martelli. Maybe there is something to that calmness. If it's helping us offensively, I don't know. They said Howard Isley is calling the offensive sets every possession down. And, hey, again, I was talking about coaching. People are talking about this coach, that coach, or this coach is gone. Hey, we did pretty good when a guy named Steve Fisher took over many years back. So, a guy can jump in, and the players are, you got good players. They can blend right in and get it going. What we need is Kofi Coburn to graduate. I don't want to look at that guy anymore. And let's get this Michigan State game. Let's get back going. Get that, like you say, we get back to that lose 1, win 1. We're back up to win 1. Get back to that confidence, because they're not going to score like Illinois. They're not going to defend as well as Illinois. Their big center is going to be nothing like, defending Kofi. So it'll be a different deal.
Yep. So, and Michigan State's feeling pretty good about themselves after losing, 4 or 5 to come back and beat Purdue. Both Michigan and Michigan State, they're pretty similar teams. Michigan had kind of moved up when you look at those net rankings and everything, because Michigan State was sliding, and now State, gets the big win against Purdue. So they'll probably be, metrics wise, a little bit better than Michigan when you start going over those Ken Palms and everything else. But they're pretty similar teams here. And, Michigan, this would be the one that you'd really want. And it's good because it's the next one. You don't have to think about, you picked this one. You get the win against Michigan State, and they can do it on Tuesday. Yeah, the students are on spring break, but, that's happened before. There seemed like there were some students that hung around, didn't go on spring break. So get out there, make some noise, and win this game on Tuesday. And come out. The one thing about today, they didn't, I don't know, you talk about the coaching or anything else, you got to come out and guard right off the bat. Illinois came out with the jump, certainly in the first half, and Plummer, who knocked down 8 of 10 threes on Thursday night, you think, hey, let's get a hand up on this guy. Let's make it more difficult. But
Danny, you're right. I edited my notes, and I neglected to say it because I thought our offensive, you talked about Howard, but defensively, I was just going, how many times are we going to let this guy shoot? I saw Brooks left Plummer one time to go defend someone else at the 3-point. I didn't understand that. the guy, he already made 4 or 5 threes. So, we just got to be smarter. You got to know if a guy's hot, make one of them other stiffs prove that he can shoot, But yeah, Danny, if we get 2 out of 3, finish respectably in the Big Ten, make the NCAA tournament, and then now, beating our rival, and then now we just focus on making a run at the Big Ten tournament. You never know what can happen, man. Because we're capable of beating anybody if we get if we make our shots and get the right matchup. I don't want to play Illinois. Let someone else beat Illinois, but let's beat Michigan State. Hopefully 2 out of the next 3. Be in the tournament, and then get focused on the Big Ten tournament and have something real positive going forward.
Yeah, hopefully in Indianapolis, I'm with you. Hopefully they beat Michigan State and then win 1 out of the next 2, and then head to Indianapolis, and whoever they get in the first round, hopefully they're on the same side as Wisconsin. I wouldn't mind seeing Wisconsin in Friday in Indianapolis for everything there. That'd be I think that'd get everybody fired up. Juwan on the sideline, and let's go. Let's see Illinois on Sunday in the Big Ten title game.
That'd be a beautiful situation, and don't underestimate this too. I know we're Michigan and Michigan State are both they recruit nationally, but we still want to be able to not let them dominate the state of Michigan when it comes to recruiting. So that game,
you know what, Scar, you can't underscore however you're doing the things, like you want to win the Big Ten, you want to do all this, you want to beat Michigan State. You don't want to lose 2 games and you're only playing them twice. You got to split. So just from that, it didn't matter if Michigan was sitting here and they had no chance to get in the tournament, or they're going in the NIT. You would say, you want this one. You want this game. Yeah. You don't want Michigan State coming in and Tom Izzo. You want him with that big frowny face when he's on the bus.
That's right.
That's it, man. This is the time. It's March. And, he's Mr. March, but you can go in there. You can send him back on the long ride home up to East Lansing. You get that notch in your belt. You're feeling good about, the 1 out of the next 2. You're feeling good about your tournament chances, feeling good about maybe putting something together in Indy, and then you're feeling good about putting something together in the Big Dance. So it's all ahead of them here. They still got it. There were some good signs today, but, you'd like to see it all come together for a couple games in a row.
And again, as a former player, you want to, a guy like Eli Brooks, a guy like Devontae Jones, and hopefully those are the only 2 that are going to be leaving. But you don't want to end your career having lost, the last 2 straight to Michigan State, to your rival. And so those things matter. So let's get focused on Michigan State. I think we're still a confident group. Illinois is a damn good team. We didn't lose to no clowns. We put up 85. We got to, we'll do much better against Michigan State because Marcus Bingham ain't Kofi Coburn. So that's a whole different deal there. We're going to play and shoot much better than we did last time up in East Lansing.
Well, everybody get your rest, because we've got, I'm just looking at the tip times here. 8:30, the odd 8:30 start on Tuesday against Michigan State on FS1. And then you're coming back for the 9 o'clock start on FS1 for Iowa. So there's going to be some late night for Wolverine fans coming up this week. We'll be on after the games talking about them. You got a final thoughts, Car?
No, it's I'm happy to see the comeback. Our kids play with pride. They fight. They got some fight in them. We're still a confident group. I'm confident with Michigan State coming in. We're getting better every week, and I got good feeling about this game.
Good.
Go Blue.
There he is, Jim Scarcelli, Dennis Fithian, 93.85. Talk with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. See you, Scar.